Hello. Welcome back to Story Time with Eric Zimmer. I got this book recently when I was at Oyster Bay in Sagamore Hill, to be exact. It's a Take a Look Inside Theodore Roosevelt's Sagamore Hill. Now, I wanted this book to take better looks at the rooms of Sagamore Hill because you can only see from the hallway when you're on a tour. Besides, right now they're only doing tours of the first floor. What's the fun in that? Well, I'm glad I saw the full house as a kid, but I want to read about it more in detail. I think a lot of you history buffs will want to hear it too. Besides, Theodore Roosevelt, after all, was one of the greatest presidents who ever lived. And his home is no exception in Sagamore Hill. Alright, we're gonna do the entire house. So you ready? Alright, let's begin. An introduction. Sagamore Hill was the home of Theodore Roosevelt, the 26th President of the United States from 1885 until his death in 1919. Theodore Roosevelt had started coming to Oyster Bay as a child to visit his grandfather and uncles who had summer homes in the small fishing community. In 1880, fresh out of Harvard and engaged to be married, T.R., his nickname, purchased farmland between properties owned by an uncle and two cousins and made plans to build a home on top of a hill overlooking Oyster Bay, even though the view of Oyster Bay is now obscured by trees. Still a nice view. His plans were nearly cancelled when his first wife, Alice, suddenly died on February 14th, 1884. Valentine's Day, 2 days after giving birth to their daughter, also named Alice. But he needed a home for his daughter and decided to go ahead with the construction. He named the home Sagamore Hill. While T.R. traveled in the Dakota Territory, his older sister Amy, nicknamed Bammy for some reason, cared for baby Alice and managed the construction of the house in Oyster Bay. T.R. eventually resumed a friendship with Edith Kermit Caro, a childhood sweetheart, and they were married on December 2nd, 1886. In time, they would have another daughter and 4 sons together for a total of 6 children. They would live at Sagamore Hill for the 33 years of their marriage. Oh, and here's a picture of the family on the back. I'll point them out later. Now, for this video, I'm only going to do the first floor. I'll do the second and third in separate videos, because there's a lot to talk about. First floor, the front hall. The front hall is the main entryway to the Roosevelt home. Visitors are often greeted by T.R. himself, who watched the new arrivals from his desk in the library. Before the north room was added in 1905, the hall was furnished as a sitting room with chairs and a small couch in front of the fireplace. In the summers, the Roosevelts would leave their tennis rackets in the fireplace and the tennis balls in the blue jugs on the mantel to keep them handy for a pickup game. The large statue of a rhinoceros was given to T.R. by his younger sister Corinne. Edith Roosevelt did not like the statue and used to hang her gardening hat over the horn to hide it. And the Cape Buffalo head over the fireplace in the front hall is one of the many hunting trophies from North America, Africa, and Brazil found throughout the home. The library. T.R.'s younger sister Ethel described the library as the heart of the home. The room doubled as T.R.'s study and a family gathering place. In the evenings, T.R. and Edith would sit in front of the fire, write letters, and read aloud to each other and to the children. As the children grew, they memorized poems, songs, or hymns, and then had to stand and recite them for the rest of their family. Recite them for the family? After T.R. became president in 1901, the library served as the center of the summer White House. He met daily with White House staffers to be updated on events in the country, reviewed reports and legislation, dictated speeches or correspondence, and met with diplomats and cabinet members. Among the portraits of TR's heroes, including Abraham Lincoln, Ulysses Simpson Grant, John Calhoun Marshall, and George Washington, the largest portrait, framed in gold, is of his father, Theodore Roosevelt Sr., which appears in the north wall of the library. The bronze statues on top of the bookshelves reflect his appreciation of fine art and his interest in nature. Yeah. Theodore Roosevelt is actually a junior, but for some reason he did not commonly use a junior suffix, which explains the apparent discrepancy in his son and other people named Theodore in the family. Drawing room. Edith Roosevelt kept the drawing room as her private office, though the room was also used to welcome TR's guests and dignitaries. The room is filled with furniture inherited from the Roosevelt and Caro families. It was Edith who managed the family's finances, tracking the household accounts, paying the bills, and overseeing their investments in addition to keeping the books for the farm operation. Her husband was hopeless with money. Really? TR once confessed to a friend that, "Every morning Edie puts $20 in my pocket, and to save my life I never can tell her afterwards what I did with it." I don't even think I want to know. $20 in those days. Edith also used the drawing room to relax, read or knit, write letters, and have tea with visiting friends. Under her desk on the far right, behind the couch, there is a bowl on the floor that was used as a water dish for the family dogs. Mountain lion and bearskin rugs in the room were gifts from her husband, while a polar bear rug was a gift from the Admiral Peary after his return from the North Pole. The North Room. This is the largest room in the house. I think it was 40 by 30 feet. Anyways, the North Room was added to the house in 1905 after Edith tired of using her drawing room as a waiting room for TR's visitors. The room is furnished with a mixture of family furniture, souvenirs of TR's public life, presidential gifts, and hunting trophies. The silver loving cup was given to Edith by the sailors on the USS Louisiana after TR's trip to see the construction of the Panama Canal in 1907. The large elephant tusks at the entryway were presented to TR by the Emperor of Abyssinia. The room also proved to be an ideal setting for family activities, ranging from informal evenings spent playing cards or listening to music, to Christmas celebrations and house parties when the furniture would be moved to the sides and the carpet rolled up for dancing. Many mementos of TR's life filled the North Room. The oil painting on the wall above by Fyodor Enk depicts TR as colonel of the famed Rough Riders Regiment. See the painting? And the portrait? Yeah. The Bronco Buster statue on the mantel far left was a gift from the Rough Riders troopers to their colonel. TR viewed the bison, or American buffalo, as a great and powerful symbol of the United States. He hunted the 2 bison shown here as a young rancher in the Dakota Territory. There they are. There are their heads. The saber and hat resting on the elk horns were carried by TR during his service as a Rough Rider in the Spanish-American War. The North Room incorporates a large alcove on its western side with space for hundreds of books. TR loved reading and owned more than 10,000 books while at Sagamore Hill. Wow. At certain times of the day, light streaming onto the desk below made it a perfect reading spot. The dining room. Meals were formal. Edith sat at the east end of the table so she could communicate with the serving staff waiting behind the screen. The children had to be on time for meals. Still relevant as of today. If they were late, they waited until the family had finished eating and then ate their meal at the little table in the kitchen. Well, at least it's better than You come late, you get nothing. At least I still get to eat, even if it has to be in the kitchen. Even when dining alone, the family dressed for dinner. Very formal. And the boys were expected to stand when their parents or any ladies, including their sisters, entered the room. Interesting. TR enjoyed entertaining and hosted a myriad of guests. Usually the Roosevelts included the children at the table when they had guests. The children were expected to display proper manners and hold up their end of the dinner conversation. The discussions ranged from current events, history, and politics, to the latest books and poetry, to the children's activities. Ted Jr., who technically should be Ted the Third, later remembered that meal times at Sagamore Hill were the best education I had. Interesting. The furniture in the dining room was purchased by TR and Edith during their honeymoon in Italy in 1887. The embroidered screen hiding the pantry door was a gift to Edith from the Empress of Japan. It seems like there are only 6 seats at the table. Shouldn't there be 8? 6 children, 2 parents? I'm sure there were other tables. Oh yes, and one other room on the first floor. Aside from bathrooms and showers, of course. Mrs. Roosevelt came... The kitchen. My mistake. Edith Roosevelt came to the kitchen every morning to meet with the cook and review the menus. During TR's presidency, breakfasts and dinners were usually limited to the family and close friends, but lunch times could be frantic. Some days, the kitchen staff would have to provide as many as 4 sittings at lunch to accommodate the children, the White House staffers, Edith Roosevelt and TR and their guests, and the household servants. Edith once wrote to her sister that she was lucky to have such good-natured servants because she never knew until the last moment who TR would invite to lunch. Don't you just hate when that happens? Surprised some certain people would put up with it for so long. And some of the cooks worked them for over 25 years. Much of the food consumed at Sagamore Hill was produced by the farm operation.